You know, they're selling you all wolf tickets, people. You're eating them right up.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I back. Trust me, I back.
But I'm not impressed by your performance.
You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing. Shut your fucking mouth, you'll do nothing. You'll do fucking nothing. Not one of you'll do nothing.
I'll tell you what, bro. You know, I was out there, I was fighting all the hitters, bro. You ain't fought no hitters.
Come on, guys. Normal.
I'm not saying I would fight you. I would kill you.
John, do you think I'm just gonna sit there and let you kill me, John? I mean, really?
No, don't be scared, homie.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the fuck he wants.
I am gonna beat you into the living death. I mean, maybe that's your job, but where I come from, you know, people like that get slapped.
That's fucking illegal.
Nick, you just shook up the world. How's that feel?
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Yeah, this is a simulated death match. And you haven't simulated anybody's death yet.
I said it last year. We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
What is the game plan going in against him?
The game plan is you go in there, hit him with some good shit, don't get hit, and come home with a pocket full of cash.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Everybody's on steroids. The whole UFC, everybody.
I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light. That's a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me nothing.
Do you want to be a fighter? That is my question.
Yes. What is up? What is up, Mixed Combat Radio family? Hit the like button, subscribe, share the show. Go to patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio to, fully support the show if you want. But yes, another edition, another daily show of MCR podcast. Not a lot to get into in terms of topics. It's kind of been a slow week, I would say, overall, except for the whole Wilder Joshua shit, which obviously we're going to delve into more because per Kenneth Boyer from boxingnewsonline.net, a great writer. Definitely go check out his work. Definitely a good Twitter follower as well. Had an exclusive with Deontay Wilder that definitely led some interesting quotes out there. Shout out to Chris Mannix at the Yahoo Boxing Podcast. Had an interview with Bob Arum, which we're going to chop up as well. Highly interesting what's come out of that in terms of the financials for Top Rank and ESPN and their relationship going forward. And, of course, Josh Koscheck retiring. So much more to get into as well. And, obviously, Tito Ortiz coming out and saying that he believes his fight with Chuck Liddell, their third fight, will do 500,000 pay-per-view buys. Tito. Man, what are you thinking, man? What are you thinking? And just quickly, shout out to everyone in the chat. DFW Boxing is back. Oh, we get this daily? ? Hell yes. Yes. It is a daily show. It was originally set at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, but I believe I'm going to move it to this time going forward from now on. Just is an easier time for me. Allows me to do more research. Allows me to get sound bites, all that stuff, clips for the show, whatever it may be. It just gives me more time to produce the show solo dolo. Sam Spencer, Benjamin Franklin, Oscar Martinez, Rampage Fan, Legendary Boxer. What up, Legendary Boxer? I am Curtis. Rabitsky, Igloo, ABC. What up, everyone in the chat? It's good to be back. Good to be in the chair as always. And again, make sure to hit that like button because this is a completely fan-driven show. It is not monetized. It is solely built on the backs of you, the listeners. You are my board of directors. Legendary Boxer, yes, I actually did want to mention that off the top. He's saying, talk about Drake giving Al Heyman a huge shout-out. Drake said, Al Heyman check off all of my events. I love profits, man. I don't do percents. Obviously, I mean, it's huge. Al Heyman's been getting shout-outs from rappers for a while now, I would say. And people don't realize it. I think, like, the Wu-Tang Clan had project maybe like a couple years ago, something like that. I forget when they had it. And they definitely talked about Al Heyman. There was a few Al Heyman references in that. So Al Heyman's always been big in the music industry and the hip-hop industry, and that's why he has done so well in the market he has within boxing. But digressing, obviously, to so much that we have to do within the show. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into this Deontay Wilder shit. Let's get that out of the way because I think like everyone said, we're pretty much over it. Like ABC had in the live chat, he said something to the effect of, I really don't care anymore, like whose fault it is. I just want to see the fight. I just want to enjoy the fight. And I think the majority of fans are at that position. Obviously, you have the fanboys on both sides making their shit. But it's just interesting. It's just interesting to note that I think a lot of us are over it. But I think we can't be. In terms of my job, as a media, I can't be over it. I have to discuss it and address it, give my take on it and my analysis on it. And this article, this is exclusive with Deontay Wilder by way of Kenneth Boyer of Boxing News Online. Definitely go check it out. Pretty good article, extensive to say the least. But let me get down to basically the point where it's just interesting what we're gonna get. Right here at the top, saying, let me highlight it for you guys so you guys can see it. Fuck Hearn, said Wilder. We're done with that. Only thing we need was the belt to unify. And this is all about the $20 million 2-fight deal with Eddie Hearn and DAZN. That's all this is in reference to. The $50 million offer is off the table. That flat fee I was going to take, all that is off the table. If they ever come back to us, it's going to be 50-50 straight down the line. And oh my God. This is so frustrating. I'm just glad the blindfolds are off the people's eyes. Even casual fans see what happened. No, they don't, by the way. For those that can't see, the ones I call Eddie zombies, they can be a fool behind him. And actually, I want to address this very fast. He said, right now, we're not looking at Brazil. He's a mandatory, so eventually he's going to get what's coming to him. There is definitely history there, and I can't wait to fight him. There's a possibility he could be next, or a possibility he may not be. I advise him to stay ready and get in the best shape of his life. Okay, so we're getting Brazil next. Even though he said we're not looking at Brazil, literally the next sentence is, I cannot wait to fight him. There's a possibility he could be next. So you can't tell me you're not looking at him and then saying that it's a possibility that he is next. It's crazy. But yeah, back to, the whole 50-50 straight down the line. Wilder, I consider you like a friend of the show in a way, right? Cousin show, whatever you want to talk about. This is not the right move to make. Triple G had how many sort of like ducks in the row for him in terms of negotiation power. And he had a battle for 45%. And he really only got that because Canelo popped for steroids. Popped for clenbuterol, I should say, not steroids. And he only got 45%. Triple G, the guy with all the belts basically in the division, against Canelo, who has 0, who was just stripped of the lineal ring belt, whatever that means in today's age. That guy got 45%. And you're asking and now demanding again, for 50-50. That just makes no sense. Like, you're just not going to get it. And a lot of people in the chat saying, like, it's all bluster, it's negotiation. And it could be. I get it. But in terms of optics, in terms of PR perspective, this is not what you say. This is not what you fall back on and you say to people and you say to the media that, I want 50-50 again or no fight. Like, we don't want to hear that. We don't. In the media, the hardcores, even the casuals, no one wants to hear that at this point. It's just crazy that Legendary Box said, dude, 50 is a starting point. Wilder won't take a penny less than 40%. Okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about PR and optics. How many times do I have to say that? The casuals and even the hardcores don't give a fuck about, it's just a starting point. They don't care. They don't. In a lot of people's minds, he had a contract in his hand and he didn't sign it. And now he's demanding for 50% of the revenue, which we can all agree he does not deserve. He does not draw the 50% from that matchup. He doesn't. So it's just, you can say it's a starting point, and I get it. Trust me, I understand, but don't say in the media. Don't. Like there's no point in doing it. Saying Wilder, Paul Veerman saying Wilder was kind of winning the PR battle before he came out with this bullshit. Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. He was winning. He was winning in the public eye, and then he comes out with this shit. Wilder, man, like I don't get it. There's so many times where you have been in the driving seat of this negotiation, that you have been in control, Wilder, and yet you do stuff like this. I don't know if it's your team telling you to do it. I don't know if you're doing it. Whatever it is, you need to correct it because you are shooting yourself in the foot. We can all sit here and agree that AJ can keep making 10 to 15 to 20 million per fight against whoever he fights. You took the 15 million. You went over that hurdle. And now you're starting from scratch again with that whole fucking deal? Why not take that 20 million offer? Why not? I don't see the issue with it. Showtime's not paying you more than 5 million per fight. They aren't. It's not in their budget. They can't afford that. Maybe Al Heyman and sponsors are getting you that on the back end, but you can make that on top of the 5 million guarantee against Brazil with DAZN. And then you still have AJ guarantee in April. Like, it just makes no sense to me, man. It's just really frustrating to see as a media member, as a fan of the sport, how many times this fight has been so close to being made. And it's just a matter of putting egos aside and getting it done. And neither camp has done it. Both camps deserve criticism for this. I know there's Wilder fans in here. I know there's AJ fans in here. You need to reflect on your own fan base and go, what the fuck are we doing here? Curtis saying, Matt is wrong on this one. Wilder shouldn't break back down 50-50. Then he will never get the fight. He will never get the fight. If you say that Wilder should never back down from 50-50, that's fine. Go for it. It will never happen then. Even Triple G had to back down from 50-50. Come on, fam. Come on, man. What are you doing here? It's ridiculous. Look, and I'm not saying that. And Igloo saying Matt's drinking Fast Car Eddie's Kool-Aid. That's funny though. Look, I'm not saying that Eddie and Joshua are innocent. They're not in this. They're completely complicit in this. They have done so much bad business in this entire negotiation process. I'm exclusively talking about this moment in the process of Wilder going from the 15 million that he already agreed to saying, nope, I want the 50-50 again. I'm exclusively isolating this case from everything, and what you should do and say that this is not a good move from Wilder. You can talk about how Eddie not putting the date in the venue and it was bullshit. We all know that. We're past that. That's why Wilder was in the driving seat in this entire process because of that. Because Eddie didn't do that. Eddie did bad business right there. And you come back and then you say this the day later. I want 50-50 again. And everyone agrees that's not going to happen. So you ruined your own momentum, Wilder, in this entire process countless times. It's like you have to agree or we're not going to sit down and talk. That was only negative to the process of making this fight happen. That was an ego move. Just like this. It's an ego move from Team Wilder. And it just makes zero sense from a PR and optics perspective. And I think even the strongest Wilder fans should be able to recognize that. If you don't, then you have some issues. You do. You really do. You have some critical thinking issues. I don't know what it is. But if you cannot plainly see that Wilder getting blamed for ruining his momentum in the negotiation process right now is not mutually exclusive from Eddie doing bad business with the contract. We can criticize both things equally or one more than the other. It doesn't matter, but both should get criticized. We don't have to stay in one camp and be dogmatic in our thought process about this. It's ridiculous. But I'm moving off of that. I'm getting off of that shit because it's just it's fucking toxic right now. But definitely go check out the article by Kenneth Boyer. Again, great follow on Twitter. Go check him out. And it's just good quotes. Like again, it's just more understanding. You know, if you're If you're an Eddie Hearn and AJ backer, or if you think that he is right or they are right in this case, read this. Like, give it a thought process. Like, think about both sides of the issue here, in a sense. Don't be dogmatic. That's only toxic to this entire environment, is to be dogmatic in your thinking. And if you're a Wilder fan, go and watch the whole IFL interview. Like, understand their thought process behind it. You may see that Eddie's lying here and there, and that's true. But look at the bigger picture here. Like, again, critical thinking here is not that hard. Curtis Cooper saying Triple G started at 50-50 and got higher than most expected. Yeah, but he didn't get 50-50, Curtis. You are the same person that said Wilder should not back down from 50-50. Triple G did. How many belts does Triple G have? A lot. How many does Wilder have? 1. Like, who has done pay-per-view in the U.S.? Triple G. Who's historically done better ratings? Triple G. Who's historically done better attendance and gate revenue? Triple G. And he didn't even get 50%. Like, it's ridiculous here that you are further proving that what you stated earlier, Curtis, made 0 sense. So, is what it is. Again, moving off of that to something that I found absolutely fascinating. I first got peeped of this from Boxing Esquire, talking about the Chris Mannix podcast with Bob Arum, and I'm gonna play you some audio of it. But I just wanted to show you this metric that he brought up, saying that considering folks are estimating the combined HBO Showtime budgets are between 65 to 80 million. ESPN is giving Top Rank a lot of money. Yeah, so let's just get into it, because this was just interesting to hear from Bob Arum, especially since we knew so little about the Top Rank deal. It's good to finally get maybe some perspective on it. Let's just go right into it.
You wouldn't get anything out of Wilder long term, but that's not a big issue for you with this platform.
That's right, and and money is not an issue. Mm-hmm. It's always an issue, but it's not an issue. In the sense that, our budget is probably bigger than HBO and Showtime combined. Mm-hmm. Combined.
Yes, and before I play the next one, that is fascinating, because, when we talk about the players, on the chessboard of boxing, so to speak, I don't think any of us really thought that Top Rank with ESPN was as big of a player with that much capital that they do have, that apparently Bob Arum is saying that they have below 100 million per year, but somewhere between 65 to 80 million, per Boxing Esquire. That's a lot of money per year that they can do a lot with. And let me play the next clip and just, sort of, again, take a little more macro from my points yesterday about DAZN versus ESPN. Because I think, again, we're seeing something form here, and I want to make note of it starting. I think it is starting. It's something to, get the conspiracy theorists out there going. George is going to love it, but the mafias are at work here in a way, theoretically. So let's just play the second clip.
But you don't have a problem with using what is effective, like you said, you're their boxing provider, using that platform to promote guys that aren't necessarily tied to you or won't be tied to you.
Whatever's good for ESPN is good for Top Rank. Mm-hmm. That's our philosophy. Mm-hmm. And if ESPN gets a real boost, and they think and we think that doing a Wilder fight as a one-off on ESPN is good for them, then we of course will do it. Mm-hmm. Not even a question, because if Showtime was smart, and they have a limited budget, and if they can't afford to spend a lot of money on a particular Wilder fight, we're happy to do it for them. Mm-hmm. We're happy to do it for HBO.
And I'll leave it at that. Interesting. I don't know if anyone really peeped it. It seems that even though Golden Boy has some dates with ESPN, of course they have some sort of deal with ESPN. It seems that Top Rank and ESPN have almost a co-partner relationship between the two, where Bob has mentioned that he is in control of the production, he's in control of the matchmaking, he's in control of everything. That Top Rank is in control of the entire quote-unquote boxing department of ESPN. And that Bob Arum and Top Rank, similar to how Eddie Hearn and DAZN, how Eddie is now sort of, and Matchroom USA, are now acting as sort of a co-partner, a co-entity in a sense to DAZN, to where they are sort of running the ship, and DAZN is just the network backers, so to speak. It's weird. I really don't fully understand the relationship of the two respective entities. Eddie and Matchroom USA to DAZN, Top Rank to ESPN, but they seem very co-partnerish, so to speak. I wonder where this is going to go again 5-10 years from now. Always have to take it out farther from now. How is it really going to affect the landscape? We are definitely getting an exodus from premium cable. I mean, Bob mentioned that a lot. Eddie's mentioned it a lot. Again, two guys that are seemingly tied to what the industry is trying to make to be the future of boxing, streaming apps, right? And it seems that Showtime and HBO are behind the curve vastly. Showtime not as much, but HBO is. They're so far behind the 8 ball that they're not a player anymore. I feel like, only in a sense because of Canelo and Triple G, and even then, vaguely, it's not the same. But digressing a little bit, excuse me. Do we get, like I said on yesterday's show, do we get in 5-10 years from now a Cold War between DAZN and Eddie and that entity and that conglomerate, so to speak, and ESPN Plus, ESPN, and Top Rank, and whatever that entity is, and then we have in the next 5 years the paradigm we thought Showtime and PBC was just break apart. I don't know. I think it's a possibility. I think it's becoming more and more likely to be a possibility that it happens. Showtime, no matter how good of a brand it is, and what obviously it's backed by CBS, it's never really gained subscriber base, never really gained viewership in a sense. It seems to be, other than in terms of putting on a great product visually, I think their production quality is fantastic. Their commentary team is fantastic. What they do within the network for boxing is awesome. But it seems to be growingly more archaic of a style. We see the UFC now going to ESPN Plus. We see Bellator go on to DAZN. We're seeing something here. We're seeing a paradigm shift in the industry. And again, 5-10 years from now, is it going to be ESPN Plus versus DAZN? And that's really it in the marketplace for boxing. I don't know, but it's a possibility, and I think we should start thinking about it. So yeah, it's one of those things that we need to start looking at. And plus, if Top Rank has that much money, and they are that in control of the product for ESPN, no wonder they're trying to buy up everyone right now. And like they were, talked about a little bit. Obviously, you didn't hear everything from Chris Mannix, talking about picking up a Wilder fight on ESPN Plus, and spending $5+ million on Wilder, and Bob Arum having no issue with that. Is it a possibility? I don't know. It's all about what Al Heyman is up to. Al Heyman's personal and business relationships have always been interesting and complicated, to say the least. So it's one of those where I don't know where it goes from here, but it seems like something is happening. Keep an eye out. There's a lot of money going around with these two new networks, so to speak, in ESPN Plus and DAZN. A lot of fighters are noticing that money, and they're going to try to take a piece of that. Speaking of money, I don't even have it up. So I'm sorry, I didn't pull it up. but I wanted to address it. The Adrian Broner Mayweather information that let me just pull it up because it's just better if I pull it up because I don't even know what to make of this. It's Adrian Broner 5-fight, $50 million deal. Let me just pull it up right here. There we go, so you guys can see it. Adrian Broner at Floyd Mayweather. I'm glad we was love that. We was able to sit down and work out our differences. ... I was glad to sign the 5-fight promotional contract for $50 million. Hashtag Brothers for Life. Or sorry, Brothers Forever. Hashtag TMT. Hashtag AB. Hashtag Big Bro. I mean, I have no idea what to make of this. Do we believe it? I kind of don't, and it seems like no one else is sort of reporting on it. Like people, like no one is getting a press release saying this, that this is happening. Just weird. Just a very weird case of the news where I don't know what is happening with Adrian Broner. 1 second he's retiring, now he's allegedly got a $50 million contract from Floyd Mayweather when they've been beefing and rivaling for the last, 3 or 4 years. Man, I have no idea what's happening with AB, but if he did get the bag, salute to him, because he still pulls great ratings. I mean, that guy, you put him on any network and any sort of platform, he does numbers. Now, is it $50 million worth of numbers? I'm not going to get into that one. Just weird. Just such a weird case of AB news. Definitely let me know in the live chat and definitely in the comment section after the show what you think. Is this real? You know, does AB have a $50 million deal with Floyd Mayweather? God knows at this point, right? God knows. Another piece of news I thought was official, but shout out to World Boxing Super Series for just dropping the ball again. So fucking frustrating. Usyk versus Garcia officially announced for July 21st in Moscow. Just like with the 140-pound tournament announcement, it feels like it's way late than what we know. Like they have boxing's worst kept secrets, and they also leave them no time to promote this. 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, maybe 4 weeks pushing it. They're going to try and promote this level of a fight. I mean, they can do it obviously in Russia in a regional sense very well probably already, but internationally, there's no time for promoting this. And that's just another case of the World Boxing Super Series just dropping the ball again and again and again. Just ridiculous. But great fight. Finally glad it's announced and it's official. Remember that the card was relatively stacked. I think Felder Shunoff was on the card. Cecilia Brækhus. Denis Shafikov is on the card. A lot of fights that are worth, sort of mentioning, so to speak, or noting. Will be interesting to see, what we as a U.S. fan base will get from it. I don't know if you guys in the UK or elsewhere are going to see this via ITV or what. Let me know in the chat. I'm curious. Last piece of boxing news before we head out to UFC and MMA talks, just so you boxing-only fans know. And again, boxing content's all in the first half, MMA in the second half, and I will start splitting the show in post-production, so if you guys are MMA fans only out there and you don't care about boxing, you can at least just see your MMA content separate from the boxing content, and vice versa. If you just wanted to just see boxing content, I would put that up separately as well. But Devin Haney, man, always talking greasy on the low key, saying if Garcia versus Easter winner wants me, I'm available.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yeah, it's one of those where I was not expecting Devin Haney to say that, because a Mason Menard isn't really a win to catapult you into that fight. But just to read his quote, I have a lot of hype around me. The cat is out of the bag. I'm nobody's prospect. I'm a contender. If the winner of Garcia versus Easter wants to fight me next, I'm available. Ooh. The industry and the real fight fans know who I am. They know I can fight. It's only going to get better. I'm working hard, and I promise that in my next fight, you will see an even better Devin Haney than before. Obviously, I mean, I don't think this is happening next. I don't think anyone realistically thinks that Devin Haney is going to jump from a Mason Menard to fucking Mike Garcia, Robert Easter Jr. winner. That just makes zero sense. But I like the talk. I like that Devin Haney is talking this way. I like that he's thinking now, like, I want to fight the top guys. Hey, at least he's still talking that shit. At least he's saying, hey, I want to fight them. You know, if the winner of that fight said, hey, Devin, let's go, I don't think Devin would back down. I think he would take the fight. I don't think he should, but I think he would. And it's one of those where I like that. I like that we have a sort of a new face in the division. 135 at the top is a little bit top heavy, so it's good to have this young guy, undefeated, come up and potentially really give all these guys tough fights. Give Devin Haney a few more fights where he starts looking a little more elite, so to speak. And he already looks elite, but it's more of the way he carries himself. I don't know if that makes sense. You know, he still carries himself like a prospect, in my opinion, in the ring. It'd be good to see him look a little more like an elite and then fight like a Lomachenko or a Mikey, Robert Easter, etc. I'm really curious about what his ceiling is. Comparative to other prospects in his generation. Like a Gervonta Davis, even though he was a champion, I still put him on that level where a Jose Pedraza win is good, it's not great. You look at Jose Pedraza's last fight. A little B-Hop, Chris Colbert. Looking at all these, young guys are coming up, seeing who has the higher ceiling. Definitely interesting to see just where he goes. So shout out to Devin Haney, just being in the news as always, and just being a, super prospect that everyone's been paying attention to within the boxing world. But yes, that is it, everybody, for boxing. So all of you boxing only fans, this is your time. If you want to be, lame, you can head on out of here, I guess. We don't need you. We don't need you. It's okay. But digressing, obviously, to, salute to the UFC. Moody's reports UFC's holding LSE made well over $700 million last year. Definitely go check out this article by John Nash at Bloody Elbow. First off, just a great writer, a great guy for covering this type of stuff. Him and Paul Gift do a great job. Around $180 million of this came from Mayweather-McGregor, according to this report. One of their best years to date, if not their best year to date. Just shocking, because I don't think anyone expected that with the year they had on pay-per-view and just what it seemed like. But hell, they made the bag, man. So shout out to the UFC. Go read the article though, because there's a lot of information about what money how much they're in debt, what loans they've taken out for how much. It's just weird. Not weird. It's just interesting, I should say. The money breakdown with what is happening in the UFC, and for somebody that's not really deep into the financial sense of it, and, I don't understand Wall Street on the deepest level. Obviously, I'm not in Wall Street. I'm in media. Fascinating. Just a fascinating article to read. Go check it out. And salute to the UFC. They're still making the bag and paying their fighters, less than 15% of the revenue split? Maybe. Shout out to them. Shout out to Project Spearhead, Leslie Smith, and all those fine people over there trying to get that done. Hashtag unionization. Another piece of not sad news. Piggybacking off the Johnny Hendricks retirement. Another sort of stalwart of the welterweight division for that era. Josh Koscheck announcing his retirement, his official retirement. Yes, thank you, Josh Koscheck. We will never forget the Ultimate Fighter season 1, which he became famous off of, and even the one with GSP. Underrated season, by the way. Just saying. Put on some decent fights, put on some bad fights, put on some good fights. And also a little piece of, MMA history. The whole AKA banning by Dana White in 2007, 2008 maybe, over the UFC's video game rights for THQ back in the day. Josh Koscheck, John Fitch refused to do it because they were not getting any money off of it, right? And Dana White famously said, we're firing all AKA fighters, which is the gym they trained at, which was at that time one of the mega gyms of the sport, and still is, obviously, but I mean, especially back then, it was prime. John Fitch and Josh Koscheck were 2 top 10 welterweights at the time, and it was big, and it was Josh Koscheck and John Fitch saying, nope, you got to pay us, and it's just a little interesting piece of MMA history. You can go check that out. You can probably find it easily. Just type in AKA like versus Dana or something like that. Like, you can easily find it probably. But just salute to Josh Koscheck, man. One of those guys who's probably not a Hall of Famer in the sense. He might get it off of I could see him just inducting everyone from the first season of The Ultimate Fighter because of how foundational that was to the UFC's growth. But he's definitely one of those guys that just was a good fighter. Always a perennial top 10 guy. Was a skilled wrestler, a good boxer puncher. Somebody that, was respectable throughout his career. So salute to Josh Koscheck. As always, even though he was always kind of an asshole. Speaking of assholes, Tito Ortiz. I don't know what he's thinking here, guys. Tito Ortiz hoping for 500,000 pay-per-view buys for a trilogy fight with Chuck Liddell. I mean...
You fucking crazy, man. You sound insane. Do you realize that? You should be medicated.
Tito Ortiz should be medicated. That is absolutely true. I mean, the idea that he thinks that in today's age, in 2018, that a trilogy fight with Chuck Liddell, off of how many years Chuck Liddell's been retired? 5, 6, 7, 8? Fuck, a while, hasn't it? For them to do 500,000 pay-per-view buys promoted by Oscar De La Hoya. And get this. This is the craziest part right here. Okay? What do you say? He said, we're both partners. De La Hoya wants his 40%, and me and Chuck Liddell get to split 30%. Yo, that is hilarious. Oscar's coming in here and cleaning them out, man. Oscar's coming in here taking his 40%, and Tito and Chuck have to split 30? No, he must mean they both get 30%, right? But even then, doubtful, because if it's pay-per-view, the pay-per-view companies get a portion of it. So I don't know. It's just fascinating, man. I don't know what they're fucking doing, man. It's salute to Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell for trying to get a bag at this age. And shout out to Oscar De La Hoya, man. Just being a ruthless promoter, getting that 40%, man. Salute to him. Igloo saying, LOL, Oscar makes more than both fighters combined. What a joke. It is. It's just, I don't even know what to make of that, man. That is absolutely crazy. Definitely something that was unexpected, to say the least. But speaking from yesterday, or piggybacking off of yesterday, Easy saying, Matt, is PPV on that Wilder payroll? No, they aren't. Trust me. We all wish we were on someone's payroll, man. Trust me. Media does not make money in this industry. We make very little to produce a lot of content for all of you guys. When are you going to set up Skype? That's what Easy is asking me in the chat. It's going to be soon. It's going to be whenever I get some new equipment and we're close to that monetary goal. Again, patreon.com/MixedCombatRadio. And also Cash App, Mixed Combat Radio, if you want to, support the show. Igloo saying I think he needs like $500 to get this equipment. It's around $500 on the top end. I can probably do it with like $400 But it's 500 would be, I can do it, absolutely. But anyways, just picking it back off of the Justin Gaethje James Vick fight that was made. Well, Paul Felder was left without opponent. Mike Perry's opponent fell out, so they was like, fuck it, Mike Perry versus Paul Felder, targeted for UFC 226. Fantastic matchup between two really good strikers. I mean, Paul Felder's probably way more technical, but it should be fun. And Mike Perry, man, he's not going to end well with his career. First off, he's just an idiot. Secondly, he is extremely basic, does not have the cardio. Paul Felder has some diversity to his game. I definitely think Paul Felder should come in here, sort of piece him up, and get a late finish. But fantastic fight that I cannot wait to see, in the cage. It's going to be one of those that's going to be bloody. It's going to be fun, exciting, a great prelim to that pay-per-view card. And just salute to that fight game made, from what the UFC did in the past 24 hours, 48 hours, with 3 fighters falling out. They made 2 good matchups off of it. James Vick versus Justin Gaethje is a fantastic fight. And Paul Felder versus Mike Perry, fantastic fight. I am Curtis in the chat saying Michael Johnson versus Andre Fili was announced yesterday. I did not see that, but salute to that because that's a good fight. That's a really good fight. Andre Fili might be a little bit in over his head right there, but Michael Johnson has been on a downward slide, so to speak. Unfortunately. Easy E saying, what about Bellator's welterweight tournament? I covered that, I believe, on Monday or Tuesday. Check all the show descriptions. It's right there, and you can find that out. He said, can you see MVP winning? Can I see it? Yes. It's a low possibility, though, or probability. I mean, if you're giving a percentage to all these guys, all 8 of them, and who can win, I mean, Rory McDonald has to be at the top. And then what? Douglas Lima? Lorenz Larkin, maybe, if they get him in it. And then you've got a little bit of ways. And then you have a Michael Venom Page, in my opinion. But he's the dark horse. That is one thing, where he might have a higher ceiling than the guys I just mentioned, but we don't know it. We haven't seen it yet. So it's one of those where I can't judge if MVP is going to win that right now. We need to see him fight a real guy yet. He hasn't fought anyone that's legit top 10, top 15 fighter in the world yet, in boxing or in MMA. A great point kickboxing career does not exactly translate into being a guy that can win this tournament with the guys that are in this tournament. But yes, Santiago in the chat. What up, Santi? Saying, can't wait for tonight's event. Yes, Rashidi Ellis, I believe, is fighting tonight. Always a fantastic fighter to watch. Plus, that was a great little face-off weigh-in that they had. And also just one that was good. I mean, Rashidi Ellis is a guy that I believe has a really high ceiling that doesn't get talked about. I think he's sort of forgotten about due to his promotional ties. But definitely someone that I want to see. I want to see fight some top competitors soon. I think we're going to see a really emphatic knockout win for Rashidi Ellis. And it should be a fun card. I'm probably going to do a live fight chat tonight for that main event with a little tiny immediate reaction to that as well. So just stay posted on all information. But I believe that is it. Let me check very fast. Any more news that broke while we were on air? Nope, no news that broke on air. Apparently that is it, ladies and gentlemen. End of the show. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe. Go to patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. We are currently on iTunes, SoundCloud, Podcast Addict, Spreaker. What else? Obviously YouTube, which you listen to right now. And we're soon to be. Might take a couple weeks. Might take like a month or two. Not a month or two. Like a month maybe. Due to the process. But soon to be on Spotify and soon to be on iHeartRadio. So tune in for that as well. Make sure you check that out. Been a good show. Shout out to Boxing and Blunts. Great name. Santiago, Easy E. I am Curtis, Igloo. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name, sir. Mr. I think it's French. To say le virtue. Sure. That's my attempt. DFW Boxing is back. Curtis Cooper, what is up? Georgie Porgy. Fighter IQ Ron, definitely go check out his channel. Benjamin Franklin. Bunch of people in here. Robitsky, Potential Lunatic. Sam Spencer. What up, everyone? Good to have you here. And another edition. Be back, obviously, tomorrow for some live fight chats. Sunday is our Patreon-only show. The first one. It's going to be called Championship Rounds. Go check that out on patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. There's a topic and question post, which you can guarantee that your topic and questions answered on that show. And you can put a topic and question on that post without being on Patreon, by the way, just saying. But you can follow me on all these platforms right here below. Email me if you want to be a part of the movement. #MCR Podcast. But yeah, deuces. Have a good day. Bye.